Welcome to Will It Build, the series where I take your builds from my YouTube comments and Discord server and put them to the test to see if they are the real deal. If it's solid, then I'll gift you 1,000 silver, and if it's really something special, you'll be featured in a dedicated build video for your submitted build. So comment yours below so we can answer the question, will it build? No mustache, will it build? This is one that I have been dying to try literally forever, and the reason that I'm just now getting around to it, I have had the worst RNG ever when it came to getting the Buried Bloodline sidearm. Now that I finally have it, I can finally figure out whether or not a Buried Bloodline and Mothkeeper's Wraps Strand Hunter build will do absolutely crazy damage and succeed in Legend Onslaught. We've got one submitted by La Flama Blanca, where they say this super versatile build takes the Mothkeeper's Wrath exotics and fine-tunes it for a fun build, with constant healing, grenade regen, weakening debuffs, and versatility for weapon selection. For weapons, they say we have a dealer's choice in kinetic and heavy, and are obviously going with the Buried Bloodline in the energy slot. For those who don't know, the way the Buried Bloodline works is a little bit interesting. It is an exotic special ammo sidearm that basically fires tracking bolts whenever you shoot it, and anytime you hit enemies, you restore HP. Additionally, kills progress a counter that will grant Devour upon reaching 100%, where rank and file enemies or red bar enemies grant 25% towards that counter, so 4 red bar enemies will get you Devour, or killing any elite plus enemies will instantly grant you Devour. If you have the Catalyst, which I of course do, while your Devour is active, your hits will apply the Weaken debuff for 5 seconds, and it'll grant the weapon additional reload speed. As far as the other weapons, it looks like they have a 4 times the charm Vorpal weapon, Adept Warden's Law, which I actually just got today and I'm eager to try out, so we're gonna go with that. However, they're rocking with a Crux Termination. Me personally, I'm more of an Apex Predator fan with the Reconstruction bait and switch, so I'll be going like that. As far as the subclass setup goes, the grenade that you're running actually doesn't matter at all, because we are running the Mothkeeper's Wraps exotic gloves, which replaces your grenade ability with 2 ability charges of Cage of Loyal Moths and automatically overrides whatever your grenade cooldown is to 73 seconds. What Moth Cage does is it explodes on impact, releasing 2 moths to fly to their nearest target. Moths that spawn close to enemies are arc colored, so I'm assuming blue, and chase after enemies, detonating on contact, dealing significant damage, and blinds all targets. So theoretically, I believe this would be able to stun unstoppable champions if I'm correct in understanding. However, if they're close to allies, they'll be void colored, which I'm assuming is purple, chase allies much more quickly and grant them an overshield on contact. As far as aspects go, we have Widow's Silk, which grants us an additional grenade charge. I'm curious if that is going to stack on top of our second charge that we get with Mothkeeper's Wraps, so maybe we'll have 3 grenades is what I'm guessing. Other one, of course, we have Whirling Maelstrom, where anytime we destroy a tangle, it will create the Strand Beyblade that'll run around and seek targets, hit everything, deal massive damage, and also emit unraveling projectiles when it kills them. As far as fragments go, they have us with the Thread of Transmutation, where when we have Woven Mail, weapon final blows are going to create a tangle. And to get that Woven Mail, we have the Thread of Warding, where we receive Woven Mail anytime we pick up an Orb of Power. We've also got the Thread of Generation, so that dealing damage grants us additional grenade energy, perfect synergization for the Mothkeeper Wraps. And the one that's a little more interesting to me is the Thread of Evolution, where threadlings travel further and deal additional damage. My confusion here is that I don't understand how we're making threadlings with this build. The only way that I could see us making threadlings is perhaps with the Horde Shuttle artifact perk, where damaging unraveled targets with a weapon occasionally spawns a threadling. Of course, our Whirling Maelstroms are going to unravel targets. Now, I've gone ahead and brought a threat detector Hatchling Immortal, so perhaps we can use a strand weapon and test this with unraveling orbs in conjunction with Horde Shuttle to see if that allows us to generate threadlings a little bit more frequently. But other than that, I can't help but feel that the Thread of Fury, where damaging targets with a tangle will grant us melee energy, might be a little bit better, since, fun fact, the damage from Whirling Maelstrom also counts as tangle damage and will pretty much make this fragment go absolutely crazy and spike your melee energy regeneration super fast. So we're going to start out with what they had set up for us. We'll figure out how we want to switch that around later. As far as mods go, they recommended Ashes to Assets, Special Ammo Finder, and they had a Strand Siphon, or a Harmonic Siphon rather. However, I don't have any Strand weapons, so I'm going ahead and going with a Kinetic Siphon for my 4 times the charm Vorpal Warden's Lot instead. On the gloves, we have grenade kickstart, impact induction so that we get a grenade cooldown reduction anytime we deal damage with the powered melee, and then of course firepower to generate an orb of power when we get a grenade final blow. On the chest we have charged up so that we can hold an extra stack of armor charge in conjunction with concussive dampener for some damage resistance, whereas down on the boots we have stacks on stacks so that we get an additional stack of armor charge anytime we receive armor charge, as well as recuperation and innervation for a burst of healing and a chunk of grenade energy whenever we pick up an orb. Picking up those orbs is going to be pretty easy because we have powerful attraction, so we'll scavenge them all whenever we dodge, plus bomber for some grenade energy, and reaper so we generate an orb on our next weapon final blow. I think that's everything. So let's take it into Legend Onslaught with Tactics and Disgruntled Technician, two folks that were hanging out in my stream, twitch.tv/Mactics, where we film these all live, by the way. Would love to have you stop by. Let's go ahead and answer that question. Will it build? Okay, so right out of the gate, I'm noticing that I do indeed have 3 grenades as opposed to the 2 that I would typically get if I just had Mothkeeper's Wraps, so that Widow Silk is definitely very well founded. If I throw my grenade, it'll create 2 moths when it hits the ground, and then blow everything up as far as I can tell. These are obviously just red bar dregs, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how the damage works later on. Probably want to pull out the Buried Bloodline for now so we can try and get our Devour going. So there's 2 kills, 3 kills, and 4 kills, so this should get us Devour, and it indeed does. And so now that we have Devour, our Buried Bloodline is going to weaken enemy targets. And we can also, of course, maintain Devour just by getting kills. Should get, I want to say, 5 seconds extra to our Devour every time we kill an enemy. So we should be able to maintain this rather reliably. I'm going to throw moths over at these guys and the moths at my feet. Hopefully the moths at my feet will track to myself. And then I should refresh Devour by killing this Servitor, because like I said, any enemy... Oh, that's just splendid. Like I said, any enemy that is a higher than a red bar should automatically give me Devour. I'm kind of trying to figure out how often I should be using my Buried Bloodline versus my Warden's Law. It's kind of feeling weird to figure out. I feel like my Buried Bloodline should probably be like basically my primary weapon, and the Warden's Law is a backup. Yeah, I think the idea here might be the Buried Bloodline to get Devour, and then I can go back to my primary ammo weapon when I have Devour and it's red bar enemies. But even if I have Devour, if it's like orange bar enemies or tanky enemies, like if I'm fighting a Saboteur, that's when I definitely want to have the Buried Bloodline back out. Or of course, so like right now I lost my Devour, so I'm going to pull out the Buried Bloodline to get it back. And then once I have it back, then I can go back to using the primary ammo weapon. I feel like it's primarily a catalyst to be able to have Devour on a non-void subclass, is kind of what it's feeling like so far. And I know I've killed 3 red bar enemies so far right now, so I know that the next red bar enemy I kill will, without a doubt, give me Devour. So if I look at this guy, pew, now I have Devour. The ammo economy on Buried Bloodline feels really, really efficient, which is awesome. Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of spam firing this and just naturally have enough ammo. I wish the moths kind of got on you a little bit more quickly. I'm just going to throw a bunch of moths and see what happens. Oh, boy. Oh, I'm so screwed, aren't I? Oh, my overshield's kind of doing work, though. I think my overshield saved me a little bit there. Something that I really want to try right out the gate, I'm not feeling the Warden's Law, so I do kind of want to go with that strand weapon with Hatchling, maybe take advantage of the threat of evolution a little bit more, and then also be able to take advantage of unraveling orbs a little bit more. So we'll go ahead and upgrade that. And then I think that allows me to turn my kinetic siphon into a harmonic siphon. And even if I wasn't doing that, I think I would kind of rather have a void siphon anyway. I'm not 100% sure. So let's try and get a little bit more grenade action going. Because my grenades also blind everything, which is really important to recognize. There we go. Okay, with a strand weapon, this is feeling significantly better already. Just because of all the unravel that's going around because of the unraveling orbs. Yeah, this is much better. And then I got Devour right there because we killed a yellow bar. Okay, I wasn't using the moths nearly enough because the fact that they blind everything is gigantic. and I'm getting a ridiculous amount of grenade energy. Presumably, that's the Thread of Generation going to work right there in conjunction with the Whirling Maelstroms. Because if I recall correctly, the Thread of Generation has nothing to do with how much damage you're actually doing to enemies. It has everything to do with how many hits you're landing on enemies. And Thread of Generation procs enemy hits like every, I don't even know how often, but it's absurdly fast. I think the idea is basically get the Whirling Maelstrom. That's what's going to allow you to proc Thread of Generation super frequently, and then once you have the Whirling Maelstrom out on the field, that's when you can just start chucking the moths non-stop, because you're going to get so much grenade energy back. Ooh. Demolitionist and Threadling Rufus's Fury, the auto rifle from Brood of Nightmares, that would absolutely feel incredible here. Oh. Ooh, this thing looks sweet. It kind of reminds me of the Grasp of Malak when I aim down sights. Ooh, such a cool looking weapon. Oh, when it shoots, oh, that looks so good. My favorite part of Whirling Maelstrom is that the Whirling Maelstrom unravels targets, which means that things that it kills can also generate a tangle, and then the Whirling Maelstrom can blow up the tangle to spawn another tangle, which is pretty funny. Yeah, I never have to reload the auto rifle. Since that's Demolitionist, all I have to do is throw the grenade. Oh my god. With unraveling rounds from picking up an Orb of Power plus Horde Shuttle, this is nasty. Get a couple kills so I get Devoured. Now I have Devour. Yeah, this is, I just do a lot of this. I don't even really know what's happening. I'm just kind of throwing moths everywhere. And whatever happens, happens. I mean, I'm like spawn trapping everything, so I feel like it's going pretty well. Create a tangle, throw out the tangle, let the Whirling Maelstrom take care of everything. Yep. Not bad at all. I'm gonna say using a strand weapon with this is pretty important, just so you can take advantage of the seasonal mods with unraveling rounds and Horde Shuttle. Because it's feeling like the only reliable way to generate tangles outside of using your melee ability to sever targets. So I would say that's a pretty big deal. Whoops. Oh. Maybe that's not... Wait a minute. Did I just accidentally throw that grenade and... Okay, so the moth tracking is kind of nuts. Like, they will find something to hit.
Okay. Welcome to Will It Build inside of a Captain Rex helmet edition. If you've made it this far in the video and you know Captain Rex's CT number, comment it down below and I will give you a real solid thumbs up. I can see why it was very difficult for clone troopers and stormtroopers to aim their weapons in the movies, because the visibility of these helmets is less than perfect, we'll just say. Just, you know, lay off my boys, okay?
All right, right out the gate, melee ability. I'm gonna dodge as well, so I have my melee ability back to do that again, should I so desire. Then we can chuck the Whirling Maelstrom. Hopefully this Whirling Maelstrom is going to create another tangle for us at some point. Should be pretty easy, actually, just because we have the unraveling rounds. So there should be a tangle somewhere. There's one. Ta-da! If you're watching this, listen to me and listen to me carefully. Number one thing I've learned so far, use the moths about 10 times as often as you think you should/can. That's my advice so far. Final blows with this weapon create a loyal moth. The moth will seek out nearby targets and detonate, damaging and blinding them. Okay. Sorry, Buried Bloodline. You've been replaced. You gotta be able to laugh at yourself sometimes, am I right? Looking at Exdirus, my question is, what makes it synergize with Moth Keepers? Does it actually have a synergy with Moth Keepers, or is it just the idea that they both do moths and thematically speaking, they go together? Oh, so on kill, you get 2 moths instead of 1 if you're wearing Moth Keeper's wraps. Okay, so there's an actual synergy. It's not just like, oh, they're both moth things. It seems like the moth generation from Xdyrus has a bit of an internal cooldown, as far as I can tell. Oh my god, wait. This staggering is hilarious. Wait a minute. They're on a trampoline. That's so funny. What I'm learning is what I want to do right out of the gate is get my melee ability off on an enemy, because it'll sever them, which is kind of the easiest way to get your initial tangle, and then you can go from there with additional tangles. Getting the tempo down? I feel like I'm getting the tempo down. Moths, moths, moths. Dodge. I have orbs, so I have unraveling rounds. Tangle cooldown. Oh, I see the tangle. Yes, get them. Murder. Kill them all. Oh, it's so perfect when it's in their spawn. Okay, so right now we're at the stage of the build where I have no idea what's happening, but I can see that every single thing is just kind of blowing up. So yeah, I know exactly how to start this fight. One of this, one of these, one of those, one of that's. Dodge. You're gonna stomp. Whirling Maelstrom. Pop. Okay, to what degree is this gonna work? Give me these, a little bit of these, a little bit of that. Take one of those. Little dodge. Woo. 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 Very nice. Okay. Do I even want to see the scoreboard? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Did it take a while for me to actually figure out how to use that and kind of understand the rhythm? Absolutely. Definitely needed to figure out that I needed to be spamming those moth grenades, but will it build? I mean, it cleared Legend Wave 50 and I had 850 kills. So yeah. I'd say, yeah, I think you could go with Buried Bloodline, as they originally recommended if you'd like, but I think Xdyrus felt really, really fun. There's probably some other weapons you could use. I don't exactly know. I love the synergy, though, where you get an extra moth when you get a kill with Xdyrus. That feels fantastic. I would say that the kinetic weapon is not exactly dealer's choice. I would say it's definitely, you want to go with a strand weapon 100%. If you're going to take, if you want to take advantage of Threat of Evolution, it definitely has really nice synergies with these, the seasonal mods as well, with Unraveling Orbs and Horde Shuttle. So you're generating much more Unravel, which makes it easier to get your tangles in the first place for your Rolling Maelstroms. And then Horde Shuttle just spawns a ton of Threadlings and makes Threat of Evolution actually useful. Otherwise, maybe go Threat of Fury instead, so you have more melee energy. More melee equals more sever. Definitely wins 1,000 silver. If you guys want your build reviewed in one of these videos, make sure you submit it in my Discord server linked in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.